Hey guys, it's me, Steph. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, I am Steph. I love giving people travel advice on all things Peru and Peruvian culture to help them plan and prepare for their trips, for their journeys here, and just have the best, most authentic experience possible. In today's video, we're going to be continuing on with the walking tours that I've been covering here on my account. If you haven't seen the video that I did on general information, tips, advice that I can give you for the free walking tours that you can have here in Lima, I will link that up here for you to watch afterwards. In my last video, I shared in depth what you can expect from the foodie walking tour, also known as the walking tour for El Mercado Central or the Central Market. So that will also be linked up here for you to check out as well. And in today's video, I want to cover the Barranco walking tour. I've also more or less kind of covered or talked about the historical center walking tour and the Miraflores walking tour in the vlog video that I did when my brother came to Peru for a week. So if you want to watch that vlog video, you can go check that out. It'll be linked up here as well. But today I want to talk about the Barranco walking tours. For those of you who have been following me for a while now, you know that I am a very direct and honest person. This is how I am in real life. Like, I be speaking truths, and sometimes the truth isn't easy to hear. And I just love being honest and transparent with people. I don't like to lie. I'm not a BSer. So with that said, I really love 3 out of 4 of these walking tours, me personally. And that's because even though I'm a local, even though I've been to a lot of these places, for 3 out of those 4 walking tours, I really enjoyed how it was done, what I learned, because I learned new things from my guides, just the overall experience, and I really enjoyed that. Whereas the tour that I actually didn't favor a whole lot was because I felt that I really didn't learn anything new, and I guess it was because of the day of the week and stuff that I didn't like the flow, and this is what I'm here to talk about. The tour that I liked the least out of the 4 tours that the free Lima Walking Tours group offers is the Barranco tour. And I don't want to diss them because they're awesome people. They do really great work. They definitely give their best to their groups always. And I don't want to potentially discourage anyone from doing the Barranco Walking Tour, but I'm going to give you my experience, my insight, just so that you're aware of that and you can make a decision for yourself whether it's something that you still want to do or not. Okay, that's my intention with doing this video. With the Barranco Walking Tour, okay, it starts at 5:20 p.m. Okay, remember that the Barranco Walking Tour is available Tuesday through Saturday. And because I basically arrived like a minute or so late to every single one of these tours, and I was basically almost left behind on almost all of those occasions, I arrived on time for this tour. I was actually like, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes early. So I was there waiting till 5:20. 5:20 came around. Nobody showed up yet to pick us up. Then it was like 5:30, and then it became closer to 5:40, and I was like, why haven't we left yet? Like, we're over here waiting for this tour to kick off. Like, all the other tours have always been like on time. They've left on time. And this one is like, for whatever reason, not starting. It finally started around like 5:45, even though it says here we depart at 5:20, but we finally started leaving around 5:45, like 25 to 30 minutes after it was supposed to have started. And so I'm letting you know this because in case you're expecting to leave on time, because I told you to arrive on time on all the other things, I'm letting you know now this might not be the case with the Barranco tour. Maybe in the future they will leave on time, but that just happened to be my experience, because even the guide herself, I asked her and was like, hey, is this always the case? Do you guys leave closer to 6? Because all the other times it's been on time. And she told me that, yeah, like most of the time this tour will leave closer to 6 because they have to wait for the group from the other tourist information center on Avenida Larco to walk up to the tourist information center that's on Avenida Diagonal, and we have to wait for them to, walk over there, and it takes them about like 10-15 minutes, I guess, to walk calmly over there. So they leave around maybe 5:20, but by the time they arrive to this other tourist information center location, it's going to be like 10-15 minutes past. And on top of that, if the group that's at the other office, if they're using the bathroom or doing whatever else, and they got to wait on them, they have to wait to gather everyone and then walk over there. So that's why they arrived later, and the actual leave time or departure time for the people that are at the tourist information center at the Diagonal is more or less around 5:30-ish, right? So I'm just letting y'all know. And even though that's what she told me, I would still arrive at 5:20 anyway, just because I'd rather be there early than potentially late. Once everyone is gathered, then you got to give the guide your money to get the bus. And you're going to catch a chama bus or bus, which is this red bus with like a green line, maybe like a black line on the sides or whatever. And you're going to take that bus to Barranco. You all take the bus and you get off at Barranco, and then you're going to basically stop at this museum gallery place and start your tour there. The guides will always break down the groups into two different language groups. So while the guide is speaking to the group that speaks Spanish, then maybe the English speaking group can go into the art gallery and walk around and stuff, and then, you know, switch around. They have to come back out so that the guide can speak to the English speaking group while the Spanish speaking group goes around the art gallery, etc. I did the Barranco Walking Tour on a Sunday evening. So because we had left so late, by the time we got to Barranco and we started the tour and stuff, we were supposed to have seen like the sunset, I guess, but the sun was already kind of set by the time we arrived because we arrived there so late. And the tour started off strong. Like, it was nice because it was just our group. However, when we continued to walk along the path to the more like historical parts of Barranco and we ran into more people, that's where it kind of became a little bit more hectic for me, just because it was late in the day, so it was dark. And this is the winter time. I'm sure that in the summer it's probably a different experience, just because in the summer there's still light out for longer time, right? So you'll still have the light out maybe till like 9 o'clock or something. But because it's winter, it was already dark by the time that we got to the Puente de Suspiros in Barranco and stuff like that. And there was a lot of people because we went on a Sunday evening, so there were people walking around and stuff. Also, when I went, about a month and a half or so prior to that, there was this accident with this building in the area, kind of like, I don't know, broke up or demolished or something, like, I don't know, it just like broke apart. So basically they had closed down the Puente de Suspiros and that kind of area so people wouldn't walk through there and potentially have any more accidents as they go about restoring that building. But people here regardless don't follow the rules. So someone, I think, moved the little things that were blocking people from walking through El Puente de Suspiros. They moved it so people were like on the bridge and they were like near the building that had, you know, had that accident or whatever. So I don't know, but there was just a lot of people and it was dark and we got split up into different groups. And so the guide, while the guide was speaking to us in English, the Spanish speaking group went down to this little like building that houses this very famous street artist's work. And then it came time for our guide to switch groups and have the Spanish speaking group come up and then for us to go down there and explore a little bit. But it was just kind of like chaotic for me, just because there's like so many people. The guide had to go down there to look for them because, you know, they hadn't come back in time and we're walking around exploring or whatever. And then when it came time to kind of like reunite and find each other again, like I had trouble finding my guide. And I wasn't the only one, because there also was this couple, I forgot where they were from. I think they were from the Netherlands or something. And the guide had told us to meet her at the bottom of this bridge in Barranco. And this Dutch couple was in front of me. And so when they reached the bridge, they were looking for her. They couldn't find her. And then I saw them being lost trying to find the lady and I couldn't find her either. And then they walked up the stairs on top of the bridge to see if they were up there because we didn't know where she was. I started following them too because I'm like, I don't see her. Where'd she go? And so we just kind of like stood there at the top looking down, trying to find her and be like, where did everyone go? Like, we couldn't see anyone from our group. Again, because it was Sunday, it was nighttime, there's a lot of people there because it's the weekend. But maybe Barranco's kind of like that already anyway at night, no matter what the day. But anyway, it just felt a little bit chaotic and unorganized for me compared to all the other tours that I had done with the group, because the other tours, like, even though we had to be split up by language and stuff, the other groups never went too far and we never really got lost from one another. We always stayed pretty close to each other. Whereas this one in Barranco, because there was a lot more exploring and just like the overall layout and the people and stuff like that, it was just more chaotic, I think, for me. And that's why I didn't really enjoy it as much, because, you know, I just felt like, oh my god, where's my group? I lost them. But anyway, we ended up finding our guide in the end. I guess she must have been busy trying to find all the people in the group that were still walking around and stuff exploring. And once she gathered enough of them, she started walking up to the bridge to the meeting point, and that's when we saw her in the group, and then we all left together. And then from there we had a quick glance of the Plaza de Armas of Barranco, which is the main square in Barranco. And then we went to the Barranco Farmers Market that they have there. and we were hanging out there for a little bit until it was time to leave. And then we took the bus and went back to Miraflores, and that was it. And I asked the guide, like, what happens when the farmers market isn't open? What do they do instead? And on the days that the farmers market isn't open, the guide told me that they take the group to Cocopelli, which I believe is a hostel, and that's how they adjust the tour so that the people in the group have one last activity for the tour. So that's basically what the tour consists of and my experience. And something else that I want to add to this as to why I personally don't really recommend the Barranco tour a whole lot, especially if you're going to do it in the winter, is because you will be able to appreciate Barranco more during the day. When there's daylight, you can actually see the church that's there better, the statue that's there better, the graffiti as well, because in certain places, some of the street lamps are kind of like broken or whatever. They haven't been repaired, or at least they were down when I went, and so it was dark and you couldn't really appreciate it. But with daylight, you would be able to. Also, because of the lack of natural lighting, you can't really appreciate the main square in Barranco as much and just the surrounding areas, and you don't learn a whole lot of like interesting facts about the area, the history, the city, the people. I mean, our guide did point out some interesting facts about the statues that are located there near the church or near El Puente de Suspiros. But other than that, I felt like I didn't really learn a whole lot. And I basically could have done the walking tour on my own by exploring Barranco on my own, because it would have been almost the same thing, except with the lack of being in a group setting. So these are my thoughts and insights on this walking tour. I highly recommend the group. Like I said previously, they do an amazing job. I love 3 out of 4 of the tours especially, but this one potentially you could just maybe do on your own and calmly explore Barranco on your own and walk up and down the streets and take really great pictures because you actually have daylight if you do it on your own during the day. Maybe in the summer, like I said, it might be different because there's natural lighting for longer during the day. So maybe you would enjoy this tour during the summer in Lima, which is at the end of the year between like November, December, January, and like February, more or less. During the winter, I wasn't vibing. I really hope that this video helped you today in planning and preparing for your trip. If you got value out of today's video, please give this video a thumbs up, as that helps my channel grow and reach more people with this amazing, valuable information that I have to share with you. Drop me a comment down below letting me know any thoughts, insights, questions that you may have about Peru in general, about this walking tour, or anything else you want to share with me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. And if you want to stay in touch with me on social media, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram as Evolving with Stef. My social media links will be in the description of this video down below. I want to end this video by doing a quick vlog style video of my Barranco walking tour experience, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, stay curious, keep traveling, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!